Hi, I'm Christine Comaford, and I'm an executive coach with Smart Tribes Institute. We use neuroscience-based techniques, also neurolinguistics, to solve our clients' biggest business challenges. One hot topic that I keep coming across with our clients is conflict and how to navigate conflict and how to not avoid it and how to actually move through conflict and notice where you go in conflict. And you know what's funny is so many of us are taught to kind of see conflict as bad and how we should always be nice and how we should have this superficial harmony, but it doesn't really work that way. And what I find is when conflict comes up, and it always will when we have two different human beings with different perspectives, when conflict comes up, people either avoid it, right? Nothing changes and the conflict persists, or they attempt to dominate. You know, one party wins, the other one feels lousy, or they compromise where both people feel a little bit lousy because they have to give up things they care about, or they actually collaborate where both parties sit down and say, hey, let's work through this together. So let's look at how we can move from conflict avoidance to actual collaboration. First, I want you to unpack how you deal with conflict in your culture. At your organization, do you have lots of misunderstandings? Do you have mismatched expectations because your communication is low? How do you create conflict in your culture? Do people not really know what they own? Do people not get feedback so they don't know if they're on track or off track? That's also going to create some conflict in your organization. Do you have patterns of low accountability, repeated missed deadlines due to no consequences? That's another cultural thing. So first, unpack what's going on in your culture. Second, know how you avoid conflict. Where do you go? Are you passive, kind of doing nothing, hoping that the problem will go away, or frankly, waiting for others to fail? Are you overly compliant, not wanting to rock the harmony boat, so you don't trust that the relationship will be stronger once you navigate conflict? So you are passive about it. Are you overly controlling? Do you get in there and just go command and control, my way or the highway, taking charge, not allowing any space or room for discussion? So overly controlling, overly compliant, or passive? What's your style? So now what do? We start asking. We ask those open-ended questions. We want to help our team to design a better feeling reality that everybody wants. The outcome frame, one of our tools, is fantastic at shared reality and that alignment and enrollment and engagement. Here are the basic questions in the outcome frame. What would we like if we're doing it as a team? If it's individual, what would you like? What will having this do for us? What will having this do for you? How will we know when we have it? What proof is going to show up? When, where, with whom would we like this result? What of value might we risk or lose to get this outcome? Because there is a cost, okay? What are our next steps? So the outcome frame, what would you like? What will having that do for you? How will you know when you have it? When, where, with whom would you like it? What that you value might you risk or lose? And what are your next steps? Can be done as a group, it can be done individually. It's a fantastic way to get out of conflict, because in conflict, we're looking at the problem. We're looking at what we don't want. Whereas with the outcome frame, we're looking at the outcome. We're looking at what we actually do want to create. So it's a fantastic tool to use to actually navigate conflict. Sometimes though, we have to stir up healthy conflict. And we like to use what we call the piñata method. And the piñata is just like what it sounds like. We throw out some or hang up, right, some piñatas of potential solutions, and then we invite people to take a whack at them, right? And we step back, no ego attachment to this. And we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to kind of voice their input. And the mindset might be that your team maybe gets too attached to an idea or too attached to a solution. We want to let others have their say. And when we allow time for this, right, if we don't take wax at it, we're not going to get any candy from the piñata, right? So we want to be able to feel safe throwing ideas out, but also challenging those ideas, getting that healthy conflict. Mammalian brain and mammalian brain learns that we can actually survive conflict. It's not so big and bad and scary. So when we're willing to have direct, non-judgmental conversations about topics like low accountability, blaming behavior, boundaries, we can create powerful learning experiences for your team, for yourself. These are some of the tools that we use in our executive coaching at Smart Tribes Institute. When leaders use these tools, check out the ROI. 90% plus increased retention of their teams, 35 to 50% increased productivity from individuals and teams, and then employee engagement increased 67 to 100%. So if you want to get our infographic on conflict to collaboration, which I've been talking about today, you'll see it below. Also, please, in the comments, ask your question. What leadership challenges, what culture challenges, what people challenges do you have right now? So just to circle the wagons, look at what your style is, right? Do you avoid? Do you attempt to dominate? Do you compromise? Do you want to actually get to collaboration? Unpack what happens in your culture. Know if you get passive, overly compliant, or overly dominant. Start asking questions to actually draw out what the conflict is about. Use the piñata method so people can feel safe stirring up healthy conflict. Thank you so much for joining me today.